It all began on a rainy Tuesday in Seattle, the kind of gray morning that makes everything feel heavier than it really is. The streets were slick, the sky pressing low, and inside Evergreen Hope Rehabilitation Hospital, Madison Carter sat silently in her wheelchair, staring down a hallway that seemed to stretch forever. 6 months earlier, Madison had been dancing under spotlights at Lincoln Hall, the youngest ballet prodigy the Pacific Dance Conservatory had ever produced. The world had called her brilliant, unstoppable. But brilliance doesn't stop a speeding car on a wet road. That night had changed everything. A drunk driver, a slippery intersection, one loud crash, and her spine was shattered. They said she'd never walk again. But what the doctors didn't mention was how loneliness could hurt even more than paralysis. Everyone told her she was strong,
Brave.
a fighter. But no one saw the nights she cried into her pillow, muffling sobs so her dad wouldn't hear. Because when he did, his eyes filled with the kind of helplessness she hated most. Her father, Greg Carter, wasn't just any dad. He was the billionaire CEO of a global tech empire. The kind of man who built solutions, crushed obstacles, rewired industries. But no amount of money could buy back her legs. And no cutting-edge startup could fix the ache in her soul. Greg tried everything. Top specialists, cutting-edge robotics, even stem cell therapy in Switzerland. When nothing worked, he turned a part of their estate into a private rehab clinic. Still, Madison barely spoke. She refused therapy. She spent her days painting bleak landscapes and staring out windows like a ghost in a home full of light. Desperate, Greg made a choice to take her somewhere quieter, simpler, somewhere that didn't feel like defeat. And so, he brought her to a small mountain retreat in Montana, tucked between forests and cliffs, called Silver Pines Sanctuary. It was known for blending physical therapy with emotional healing, unorthodox, holistic, quiet. Madison hated it. The mountain air was cold and smelled like pine. The staff were polite but distant. And the routines felt like prison bells. On her 3rd day there, she sat outside, wrapped in a wool blanket, trying not to cry as the fog rolled in. That's when a little girl walked up to her, maybe 5 years old, with 2 missing front teeth and curly blonde hair stuffed under a too big hoodie. "Hi," the girl said. "You look like a sad flower." Madison blinked, startled. "My mom says sad flowers still grow," the girl said. "They just need different sunshine." Then, without waiting for a response, she pointed to a man working in the nearby herb garden. "That's my uncle. He helps people who forget how to smile." The man looked up, broad-shouldered, wearing old hiking boots and a flannel shirt. He had scruffy facial hair and a kindness in his eyes that wasn't forced. And when he noticed Madison watching, he gave a gentle nod. Not pity, not professionalism, just real. That night, Madison didn't sleep. Not from pain, from curiosity. The next day, the man approached quietly as she was sketching under a tree. He crouched beside her and handed her a small yellow flower. "You don't have to talk," he said. "You don't have to smile. Just maybe let this be a seed." His name was Jake Reynolds, a former combat medic who'd once worked in a busy VA hospital in Chicago. After losing his younger brother, who'd been paralyzed in the same accident that killed Jake's sister-in-law, Jake had walked away from everything. Medicine,
Cities. Guilt.
He came to Silver Pines to help others the only way he knew how, by being present. Jake didn't treat Madison like a patient. He didn't give her orders. He sat near her while his niece played. He told stories. He made her laugh once, and when she cried in frustration during a garden activity, he just said, "That's okay." Crying is part of healing, too. Over time, something shifted. Madison started asking him questions. She painted brighter colors. She asked to go outside more. But just when things seemed to be improving, a twist came. Jake was gone. One morning, he didn't show up for their usual garden walk. The staff said he'd left for a few days to help a friend in trouble. Madison was furious. She felt abandoned all over again. When Jake returned, he found her back in her shell, silent, withdrawn, angry. But instead of apologizing, he sat next to her and placed something in her lap, a box of ballet shoes. Madison froze. "They belong to my niece," he said. "She never got to wear them. She died before her first recital." It turned out Jake's brother's wife, his niece's mom, had been a dancer, too. Madison realized he hadn't just been helping her. He'd been healing with her. That day, she said her first words to him in weeks. "I want to try." Jake didn't bring out machines. Instead, he recreated a makeshift ballet studio in the retreat's barn. Mirrors, a speaker, rosin on the floor. Madison cried when she saw it, but not out of sadness. The first session was awful. Her legs didn't move the way she remembered. But Jake was there, calm, patient, steady. And after weeks of unconventional therapy, choreography for the soul, not the spine, she stood. Only for 5 seconds. But it was everything. Later that fall, with golden leaves swirling outside, Madison took 8 full steps in the field behind silver pines. Her father was there, his hands trembling. Jake stood back, quiet as always. And the little girl, the one who called her a sad flower, clapped and danced in circles.
But the twist?
That night, Greg approached Jake. "I looked into your past," he said. "Why didn't you tell me you left medicine because of a malpractice suit?" Jake looked him in the eye. "Because I didn't want your daughter to see me as someone who failed. I needed her to believe I could still help. Maybe now I believe it too." Greg nodded, and for the first time, he let go of control and thanked someone not for fixing Madison, but for helping her find herself. Today, Madison volunteers at Silver Pines. She teaches dance to children with mobility challenges. Not all of them will walk again, but she tells them, movement isn't just about legs. It's about belief. If you can believe in tomorrow, you're already dancing.